Football, just like everything else in life, is cyclical. There is always a time to say hello and a time to say goodbye, and it appears that the time to say goodbye is drawing near for quite a number of big names around Europe. When this season comes to a close, some guys will be bidding farewell to clubs they have served for a number of years, and those are the guys we want to talk about in this video today. These are 10 legends who are leaving their clubs at the end of the season.
Hey Goal 90 family, what's good? The World Cup season is here and you already know the vibes on this channel. So for everyone who's been rocking with us, Goal 90 Shop has World Cup jerseys for the whole squad. Men, women and kids. Whatever country you're repping, we've got ya. Home kits, away kits, clean classics and the loud ones. Instant match day energy. And it's love from us. Free shipping worldwide. Grab yours now and let's run this tournament together.
We'll start with Mohamed Salah. In an emotional video uploaded on Tuesday, the Egyptian king announced in no uncertain terms that he will be leaving Liverpool at the end of the season, after 9 years at the club. He came close to leaving in the January window, but he and the coach decided to work out their differences and see out the season together. But as it appears, that was only a short-term fix and the Egyptian will be moving on from the club once the season is over. The news shook the entire world of football, but we can't really say that we're surprised after seeing how everything played out between him and the coach this season. Salah will be hoping he can say goodbye to the club with one more piece of silverware. With the Premier League now out of reach for Liverpool this season, trust that the legend will be doing everything to bring the FA Cup or the Champions League back to Anfield one last time. But where will Mo Salah go from here? Will he move to Saudi or remain in Europe? That's hard to tell right now. But in the case of Antoine Griezmann, we already know where he's going. He has been at Atletico Madrid for a combined 10 years across 2 stints, but that journey will be coming to a permanent end at the end of the season. The Frenchman came close to leaving the club in mid-season to move to the MLS, but he eventually decided to stay and see the season out. He has a chance of ending the season on the best note by leading Atletico Madrid to Copa del Rey success and possibly Champions League victory, 2 trophies he had never managed to lay his hands on. It would be the most beautiful goodbye if he can manage to win one or both of those trophies. Now, like we said, we already know where Griezmann is headed. He has already signed a deal with Orlando City in the MLS and will be joining them in July once his contract with Atletico Madrid has expired. Griezmann will leave Atletico as the club's all-time top scorer, so you can expect a very emotional goodbye at the end of the season as they send off one of their biggest legends. Another big legend who will be saying goodbye to his club at the end of the season is Santi Cazorla. The Spanish legend returned to his boyhood club Real Oviedo in 2023 with one mission: to help them return to the Spanish top flight. He wanted to play for free, but employment regulations prevented him from doing so he agreed to receive the lowest salary possible, showing his undying love for the club. Well, in June 2025, he scored a goal which sent the club to the playoffs final, and in the final he scored again to help the club return to La Liga for the first time in 24 years. Having completed his mission by bringing the club back to the top flight and giving them one more year as player and captain, Cazorla will now be saying goodbye to the club and to the sport at the end of the current season. He turns 42 this year, so you can say he has pushed his body far enough, especially for a player who had the worst experience with injuries. The former Arsenal man will be departing Real Oviedo as arguably the greatest player in the club's history. Now, from a former Arsenal midfielder, let's talk about a current Man United one, Casemiro. The Brazil international is set to say goodbye to Manchester United after 4 years at the club. He already announced that he'll be leaving at the end of the season, but his plans after that are still uncertain. We believe that Man United are still looking for a way to convince him to remain at the club for at least another year, but it looks like Casemiro has already made up his mind to leave Europe after the World Cup. It's interesting how Casemiro made sure to turn things around just before saying goodbye. A couple years back, people were asking him to leave the football before the football leaves him, and even United fans wanted him out. But now, he's one of Man United's best performers and is having his best season in front of goal. Now, this is exactly how to leave when the ovation is loudest. Another player who will be leaving Manchester at the end of the season is John Stones. He has been at Manchester City for a decade now and has been a faithful servant, but it appears that he has now come to the end of the road at the club. His contract expires in the summer, and we believe that the club will be giving him a massive send-off at the end of the season. City is one club that's never scared to say goodbye to a legend, and in the case of John Stones it looks like a rational choice. His injury problems have made him largely unavailable in recent years, and with Ruben Dias, Joško Gvardiol, Mark Guehi, Abdulkadir Kusanov and possibly Vitor Rice, the club has enough depth in centre-back, so they'll definitely not be offering Stones a new contract. John Stones has been a huge part of Man City's success story under Pep Guardiola. His goal line clearance against Liverpool in 2019 helped Man City win the Premier League title by just 1 point, and then his performance in midfield in the 2023 Champions League final helped Manchester City win the trophy and complete the European treble for the first time in their history. So yes, the Englishman will certainly be leaving as a legend of the club, but he's not even the only legend set to leave Manchester City at the end of the season. Do you know the other guy we're referring to here? Tell us in the comments, we'll see if you're right soon. While you're there, if you aren't yet subscribed to the channel, go do that right away so you never miss out on our amazing content. Back to the video. Andy Robertson will very likely be leaving Liverpool at the end of the season. He now has a secondary role at the club since Milos Kerkez came in, and with his contract set to expire at the end of the season, we just don't see Liverpool giving him a new one. Robertson has been a faithful servant of Liverpool and was very important to them winning their first 2 Premier League trophies as well as the Champions League in 2019. He is a legend for sure and will be given a proper farewell at the end of the season. He came close to leaving in the winter window, having been heavily linked with a move to Spurs, but he eventually decided to stay back, and we're sure the Liverpool faithful respect him a bit more for that. Now, let's go back to Spain, where David Alaba will certainly be saying goodbye to Real Madrid this summer. The Austria international has been really plagued by injuries for years now, while being one of the highest earners at the club, so with his contract set to expire at the end of the season, we're certain that Real Madrid will not be offering him a new one. The 33-year-old versatile defender has been at Madrid for 5 years now, but that journey comes to an end this season. He'll very likely be leaving Europe after he says goodbye to Madrid. Now, from Real Madrid, let's cross over to Barcelona. The Catalan club seems ready to say goodbye to Robert Lewandowski at the end of the season. The legendary marksman joined Barcelona in 2022 and has been a faithful servant since. He has scored over 100 goals for the club, making him one of only 5 players to score 100 goals or more for 3 different clubs. He also won the Pichichi Trophy and has helped the club win 6 titles. The former Dortmund man was a huge signing for the Blaugranas and is always going to be loved by the fans, but with his contract expiring in the summer, it looks like the end of his journey is near. Lewandowski has experienced a massive drop in form this season, which is very much expected as he turns 38 in a few months. It's hard for him to continue to deliver at the level Barcelona requires, so we believe the club will be saying farewell once the season is over. The Poland captain wants to stay for 1 more year, and Barcelona have considered that, but he's the highest earner at the club and can no longer be relied on as a starter, so we don't see how the club offers him a new contract. Barcelona are already in search of a new striker, having been linked with the likes of Julian Alvarez and Dusan Vlahovic. This indicates that they are ready to part ways with Lewandowski. Still in Spain, there's a massive chance that Koke will be leaving Atletico Madrid at the end of the season. With the club having found a successor for the captain in Pablo Barrios, we think that the time to say goodbye has now come. No player has played more games for Atletico Madrid than Koke, and he is arguably the club's biggest ever legend, so his farewell will be a huge one. He has mentioned that he wants to retire at Atletico Madrid, and if he does that, that would make him a proper one-club man, as he has not played for any other club from his youth team days till now. Last year, the Spanish midfielder hinted at retirement in the coming years, saying that his career is at its end, so it won't come as a surprise if he goes on to hang his boots at the end of the current campaign. His current contract expires at the end of the season, but because of his status at the club, he can decide whether to extend his contract or leave the club. With how things have gone over the past couple years, we think he'll be choosing the latter, especially if he can captain the club to a trophy this season. Now, remember we said that there's another legend who'll be saying goodbye to Manchester City at the end of the season? It's Pep Guardiola. He is easily the greatest coach City has ever had, and one of the greatest the Premier League has ever seen, but we think that the end of his journey is now closer than ever. Pep has been at City for 10 years now, which means that he has been at the club twice as long as has been anywhere else. But just by listening to him talk and watching his body language in recent months, you can tell that he is finally ready to check out. In fact, Pep might have actually left last season, but he probably did not want to leave the club on such a terrible note, and that forced him to stay and try to get the club back on its feet. And well, he seems to have now done that. Having already won a trophy this season and still going for 2 more, it seems like he's laying the perfect foundation for a beautiful farewell. And the club is aware of this, which is why they reportedly have their eyes on Enzo Maresca as a possible replacement for the Spaniard. Now, are there more legends you think will be leaving their clubs at the end of the season? Drop their names in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, turn on the bell notification so you never miss out on new content. Catch you in the next one. Bye.